My name is Brooks Nuanez, and I read Max Dupree's Leadership is an Art.
My name is Mohammed and I read Smart Leadership by Anthony Valamis.
My name is Chirag Patel, and for this I read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. My group and I will be presenting the integration of three different leadership books today. Leadership is an Art by Max Dupree, Smart Leadership by Anthony Valamis, and Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, which I will start us off with. Think and Grow Rich covered a broad range of topics and situations under the category of leadership, both in a professional and personal setting. A particular quote from Think and Grow Rich that I thought representative of the book's message goes as follows. To win the big stakes in this changed world, you must catch the spirit of the great pioneers of the past, whose dreams have given to civilization all that it has of value, the spirit that serves as the lifeblood of our own country, your opportunity and mind to develop and market our talents. Essentially, tactics both old and new in the world of leadership are still applicable to many modern-day circumstances. If one wants to be hoisted into the position of leadership, they should still be able to follow the age-old saying of quitters never win and winners never quit. Additionally, Hill wrote many lists under the scope of leadership and knowing oneself. A few being the 8 ways to connect with your employees, 6 humbling heuristics, and the 7 basic fears of being on top, all which connect your approach with your attitude.
The book I'm talking about today about smart leadership, and the book covers basically asks questions about how to be a good leadership, and one quote from the book said, "Leadership is all about how to be, not how to do it." And also the book talked about the vision of a good leadership, and having the basic principles for leadership will help to start getting followers and building a good leadership skill. And also have being ambitious about the business and not necessarily just ambition about yourself. Also, they talked about the skill of leadership, and it's how it's either you have it or you don't have it. And the authors talked about the leadership as a skill you can develop, as long as a lot of leadership like born with a leadership skill. Also, the authors talked about how does leaders get people to follow, and it really comes down to how you are and what you stand for. And to get people to follow you, they have to believe you truly know something about the business and about the industry you are in. People have to trust your business and your judgment. And secondly, they have to trust your values. And then most likely you have your followers. Also, the book talked about how to develop a team culture in the organization, and talked about three main points to build a team culture, which is have a common purpose and state clearly the values of the organization, and also have the people getting along together, and that will help to build the team culture. The last thing the author talked about in the book about the tomorrow's leader and how they can be different from the leaders today. And they talked about having the basic principles will always help the leaders to build to have a relationship with their followers, and maybe in the future they have difference in applying these skills for the followers.
The book I read is Leadership is an Art by Max Dupree. The book focuses on people as the main framework to good business. A main point was the connection between personal life and a worker's life. It is very important to have these sides matched to find consistency and happiness in both sides. My favorite story in the book was when Dupree shares the story of a blacksmith and a poet. Was the worker a blacksmith who wrote poetry, or a poet who did blacksmithing? Dupree argues he can be both because both feed his rich, diverse personality. Dupree argues that a common thread throughout your life will fuel passion in personal and in professional life, leading to both personal and financial gain. Continuing with people, Dupree says that every employee needs to feel needed. This gives the worker purpose. In the same light, he argues that every worker needs to be involved. Having reasons for being involved gives the worker affinity to the company. Having affinity will allow the worker to find passion and fuel both personally and financially. The main word I have found to describe the people, and the theme of this book seems to be intimacy. Intimacy with work, intimacy with people, intimacy with yourself, and buying into everything around you will lead you to have good leadership as well as good followers. I learned in my reading that leadership is an art, and it's a skill that can be successfully developed over time.
Focused on the development of a leadership skill, and I found this in common between the other two books, and how developing a leadership skill takes time, and having the common purpose between the organization and the followers, and having clear values of the organization will help also to develop this skill of the leadership.
And my book talked a lot about the connection between personal life and work life again, and how those need to be systematically linked together for both personal and financial gain. There is a myth that we've kind of talked about throughout our business schooling of that work and play need to be separated. But that myth has been debunked in all three of our books by talking about the connection between personal life and work life will really drive an ambition towards getting something, whether it be personal or financial.
To finish off, my book, Think and Grow Rich, had a common theme shared with the other two books as well, which was the desire to lead and be successful in life. Essentially outlining that you need to have a stronger desire for you to go further in life. The more you put in, the more you will gain out of it. The weaker your desire, however, will yield lesser results. In this project, we all have gained additional insight into the world of leadership beyond what has been taught in our classes.
Leadership, whether in personal life or in business life, is important in every aspect of life.
Leadership is about how to be and not how to do. Thank you for watching our presentation.
Tell your friends not to think out loud until they swallow. Whisper things into my brain. Your voice sounds so hollow. I am not a leader of men, since I prefer to follow. Do you think I could have a drink, since it's so hard to swallow? Yeah, so hard to swallow.